Kate Milafalcho. Welcome to Irish Granny Helen. And before I get started, let me take care of all the business. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, because I'm going to assume you're subscribed. If by any remote chance you're not, please hit the subscribe button and the little thumbs up and the bell. You are welcome to join my membership if you so choose. 99 cents. I'm got something to put up there here in a minute. And check out my Substack. Substack is a writer's forum and has videos. Mine is called Ask Your Irish Granny. You can upload the app to your phone. It might be easier the first time to access it through the website Substack on a laptop. Okay, let's get to it. So if you haven't already watched the video that I made roughly a week ago about the yogurt shop murders, I would invite you to go back and check that video out. And here's why. This has been on my radar for a long time. And I was just waiting for the right moment to go ahead and make a video about it. And the time seemed right. So I put together that video, and 4 days later, they announced they'd solved the murders after 34 years. I have to say I was shocked. I also have to say, if you notice, when I made the video, I mentioned who needed to be looked into further. I think that's who it was. They know the name of the guy. They did genetic genealogy, which is a really interesting process. They go back and look in their genealogical records, like 23andMe, and all those sorts of places. Some of them are public, some of them are not, but for the ones that are public, they go back and look and find common genealogical links and work their way down through the family tree until they hit on a close connection that's the right age and possibly in the right area. And then they hang out and surveil them and collect their Starbucks cup or whatever and get, confirm it. That's how they caught the Golden State Killer. So they have solved that terrible crime. 4 young girls it was terrible. And tonight, after I record this and probably uploaded before you even watch this, I'm getting together with Deborah Lupien, and we are going to look at that situation through her accessing the Akashic records. In the meantime, now I'm kind of nervous. My next case that I'm interested in is the tragic death of Natalie Wood. I wonder if certain alleged suspects should start feeling worried. When I start to think about these things obsessively, something happens. It's weird. Okay, Natalie Wood. She was born Natalie Zakarenko in San Francisco on July 20th in 1938. She was of Russian Ukrainian origins and was raised in the Russian Orthodox Church. Interesting background. Her maternal grandfather, so her mother's father, fled to China at the start of the Russian Civil War in 1917. Her mother was married before she got together with Natalie's father, and had a daughter, Olga, from that marriage, but was divorced after about 6 years and went on to get married to Natalie's father. Natalie's father was a carpenter. He had an alcohol problem. Her paternal grandfather, so her father's father, was killed in a street fight between the Red Army and the White Russians at the start of the war in Russia. Her paternal grandmother, so her father's mother, fled to Shanghai and ended up in Vancouver and where she remarried. And in 1933, she and her husband moved to the United States. Natalie's mother and father were married February of 38, 5 months before Natalie was born. When she was a year old, her father changed the family's last name to Gurdin, Gurdin. In 1942, they bought a home in Santa Rosa, California. After they moved into that house, Natalie was outside playing. She was 4 years old when she was noticed by a film crew that was doing a location shoot on Santa Rosa streets, and saw her and were bowled over by her. She really was beautiful. An RKO executive changed her last name to Wood because Hollywood. In 1946, her mother gave birth to her daughter and Natalie's sister, Svetlana, also known as the actress Lana Wood. And she was born in Santa Monica. In March of 1943, so going back a little bit before this baby was born, March of 1943, Natalie was in her first movie called The Moon is Down, based on Steinbeck work. The director, Irving Pichel, I think that's how it's said, liked her and invited her to Los Angeles for a screen test. And this caused enormous stress between her parents. Her mother was quite the manager. In 1946, she got the role in Tomorrow is Forever. And for this movie, now I'm going to talk about her mother a little bit more in a minute, but her mother was not okay. And when Natalie needed to cry in a movie, her mother would do something cruel to make her cry. She'd tell her about stories of animal cruelty, or she'd bring up her dead dog that she loved. And one time she actually ripped the wings off a butterfly in front of her to make her cry. Not okay. Orson Welles, about Natalie, he was in this movie with her. About her, he said, she was a born professional, so good, she was terrifying. This is as a child, He said she acts from the heart. She's best known for her 1947 starring role in Miracle on 34th Street, in which she plays this cynical little girl in Manhattan who doesn't believe in Santa Claus, and the rest is history. She was invited to be in Macy's annual parade because of that movie. As a child, she made more than 20 films, and she was almost always the daughter, the little girl, the daughter. She also appeared in television episodes, and we're going to kind of go through her career first, and then we'll go back into her personal life. She attended primary school on the studio lot because, of course, she started acting before she was ever ready for school. There were California laws that governed how many hours a day a child could work on a lot, and a studio lot, and their schooling. They had to do 3 consecutive hours of schoolwork a day. She was an A student. She excelled at math, which was unusual. Joseph Mankiewicz, Josh Mankiewicz and Ben Mankiewicz, their grandfather, I think grandfather, or their father or their uncle, a relative, a very close relative, said that he'd never met a smarter moppet. She later said that she felt really guilty for the crew because they had to hang around and wait for her to complete her 3 hours. And so she really applied herself. She was very intelligent. She had a phobia about drowning. How prophetic is this? When she was, now I've seen 2 different ages, 9 and 11. She looked to me like 9, but who knows? She was in a movie called Green Promise. And when they were filming it, her character was supposed to race across this flooding bridge and to safety. And when she ran across, really was a flooding bridge. When she ran across it, the bridge fell apart prematurely, and she was thrown and broke her wrist and almost drowned. She really did almost drown. They had to rescue her. It was a very close call. And she always had a terrible fear of the water. She said she was afraid of the dark sea. Her mother, and we'll talk about her mother again being such a manager. Her sister Lana Wood, said that her mother was a pathological liar, and she was also obviously a sadist. So let's start checking off the hair checklist. She went to a fortune teller relatively early in her marriage and was told that her daughter would bring her fame, and so she really pressured Natalie to go into movies. Natalie didn't particularly want to. She didn't hate it, but it wasn't her that drove the whole thing. She got a lot of press attention. Her mother was quite adept at the PR. As she got older, she played numerous teen roles. She played the ingenue, which is, means the innocent girl, until she was about 16. And she really wanted to be in the movie that they were casting, Rebel Without a Cause. And it was one of those heated contests for the plum role. While she was waiting, to be in this movie, she got in a car wreck and ended up in the hospital. The director of the movie came to visit her. Nicholas Ray was his name. Came to visit her. More about him in a minute. And overheard the doctor in the hallway calling her a GD, juvenile delinquent. And Ray, the director, thought, well, that's what we need for this role, is a juvenile delinquent. Perfect. He had the hots for her. And it's not even alleged, this really happened. There was an illegal relationship that was carried on at the time. She did great in the movie. She got nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and as a result, she got a contract offer from Warner Brothers, which she signed. She said that movie was the first script that she herself really wanted to do, that she wasn't being told by her parents that she had to do. Her parents were actually really opposed to it, but she was a juvenile delinquent, so she insisted, and she did the movie, and the rest, In 1956, she graduated from Van Nuys High School. This is one of the interesting things about schools in Los Angeles, and I think it's probably not as common now, but in those days, and even when I was in high school, when we were using cuneiform tablets, she wasn't an unusual famous person to be going to school with everybody. Beverly Hills High School, Los Angeles High School, Van Nuys High School. These are all fairly close suburbs. Van Nuys, I want to say Van Nuys is in the Valley. I could be wrong about that, but still part of Los Angeles. She signed with Warner right out of high school, and she got a whole lot of girlfriend roles. She got paired with Tab Hunter a couple of times. Not great. No chemistry. In 58, she got a really good role in Marjorie Morningstar. I read that book. That was a very good book. In 58 and 59, she refused a couple of roles, and she got suspended by Warner Brothers. They weren't putting up with that. She was in a really difficult place professionally because she had been a really cute, super talented child, and there was opportunity for her there, and she wasn't yet an adult, and she was making this transition between child, teen to adult roles, and some people called her washed up. She wasn't getting the offers she used to get. In 1961, she was given the movie Splendor in the Grass, and her career rebounded. I believe that was the one with Warren Beatty, if I remember correctly. The director Elia Kazan saw her and felt she was very mature and had a ton of talent and had the emotional depth to play the role, which is hard to find when you get somebody who looks young enough. They don't necessarily have the maturity. So he was able to pull things out of her. He did a couple of different movies with her. They got along great. She got nominations for both the Academy Award and Golden Globes. And so what was she, 18 roughly? In 1961, she starred as Maria in West Side Story. No comment. It's kind of a modern Romeo and Juliet, and it was a musical about the restlessness of American youth in the 1950s. Some say it was one of her best films. I don't know, a little heavy on the pancake makeup. Marni Nixon did the singing. Marni Nixon is the one who sang all of the parts for all the musicals, from almost all of them, for a very long time, and never got any credit. Now, she dated Warren Beatty for a while, and that did not go too well. In 1962, she starred in Gypsy. She was the younger daughter, and she actually sang herself. In 63, she did Love with a Proper Stranger and got her third Oscar nomination at the age of 25, which made her the youngest to get 3 nominations. Since then, Jennifer Lawrence and Saoirse Ronan have both achieved 3 nominations by the age of 23. In 1965, she was in The Great Race, and she got cast because the character needed to speak Russian, which she did. Sydney Pollack said that when she was right for the part, there was no one better. She was a damn good actress. She was really respected in Hollywood by the professionals. Sometimes box office and the professional opinion differ, but she consistently had respect from Hollywood professionals. She got 2 more Golden Globe nominations for Inside Daisy Clover and This Property is Condemned, both made with Robert Redford, R.I.P. Just died last week. So she broke up with Beatty, and for a while she had a period of real instability, including taking a few too many pills, which fortunately she recovered. By the middle of the 60s, she was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. She often was criticized. Her films would make money, and she would be criticized by, public critics, the media critics, for whatever, I don't know, because all the professionals thought she was great. In 66, Harvard Lampoon elected her the worst actress, past, present, and future. She was the first actress to get that award, to ever attend the banquet and accept the award. And they said she was such a good sport. He felt badly about it afterwards. She took 3 years off after she made the movie Penelope, and she did that because she was starting to get hives every time she had to film on set, and she realized that the stress was finally starting to catch up. If you consider the fact that, what was she, 25, 26, 27, and she'd been acting steadily since she was 4. In 1966, she got emotional help. She bought out her own contract. She paid them $175,000 to get out of the contract, and she focused on her mental health. In 69, she married Richard Gregson, and they had a couple of daughters, I think. In 69, she also made the movie Bob, Carol, Ted, and Alice. It's all about sexual liberation. It's so dated. I watched it a couple of years ago because it had been years since I'd seen it. It's so dated. It's fun to watch. It was number 6 in the world for making money in 1969. Oh, in 70, she had her first child. So she got married in 69, made that movie in 69, then had the baby. Her daughter, Natasha, and she kind of went into semi-retirement. She only did 4 more films ever in her life after that. She did a brief cameo in 1972 in The Candidate. She played herself. That was also Robert Redford. In 72, she got back again with Robert Wagner. She had been with him. I don't know why I didn't write that down. She got married to him early in the 60s, 59, something like that, something in that basic area. She was 19 when they got married the first time, and then that fell apart. We're going to talk about her personal relationships here in a minute, but off the top of my head, in 72, she remarried him. In 73, she was on a film on television with him, and she did some other roles. In 78, she had a cameo in his TV show Switch. In 79, she was on Heart to Heart. She got a Golden Globe from Here to Eternity on TV. It was like a mini series in 1979. In 1980, she starred in The Last Married Couple in America, and it became infamous because she said the F word to her husband on the show. Then she made The Memory of Ava Riker, and this was her last completed film in May of 1980. So then we come to the next year. She was working on a movie called Brainstorm with Christopher Walken. And we'll talk about her death. She was written out of some of the scenes. They had completed a lot of the scenes with her in it. They used her sister as a stand-in, and they did complete the movie, which I don't think I've ever seen it. I'm going to have to look at it. And it was released on September 30th of 1983. So I'm recording this today. It's the 29th. So her last movie was recorded tomorrow in 1983. She was scheduled after that movie. She had been scheduled to go star on stage in 1982, the play Anastasia. So, in total, she made 56 films. Before her death, she was called our sexual conscience on the silver screen. So it was 1957 that she first married Robert Wagner. She was 19. An interesting story about that. I've been trying to dig out stories, and it's been a long time since I read any books about her. Sarah Jordan Heinz and I are going to do a video about her, but I'm trying to get my hands on the books and get caught up. I read them when they came out. There's one by her sister, and there's one by her daughter. And then there's another one that's been updated that Sarah told me was the best one. So I'm trying to get my hands on that. In the meantime, there's a story about she was at the studio and walking down the hall, and she saw Robert Wagner. He was 18. She was 10. And she turned to her mother, and I guess there were witnesses to this. This really happened. She turned to her mother and she said, I'm going to marry him someday. Anyway, they got divorced they separated in June of 61, and their divorce was final in April of 62. And allegedly, the story is she caught him in a compromising situation with a man, allegedly. So she dated, after that, as we said, she dated Warren Beatty. She dated Michael Caine, David Niven. She was engaged to a Venezuelan shoe manufacturer, which that didn't work out. She broke the engagement. May 30th of 69, she married Gregson, had her daughter, Natasha, the next year. And they got divorced in August of 71. No reason why written down. She had a short romance with Jerry Brown, who eventually became governor of California. He had a type because he dated Linda Ronstadt for a really long time. And it's my opinion that Natalie Wood and Linda Ronstadt are very similar in appearance. Natalie remarried Wagner in July of 72 on their boat, the Ramblin' Rose, off Malibu. It gives me chills how much boating and oceans and water figure in her life. Her daughter Courtney was born March 9th of 74. There is an FBI agent named Donald Wilson who made the claim that he had an affair with her from the time she got pregnant in 73 until 1977, allegedly. In 2001, her biography revealed that she claimed, oh, this is terrible. This is really awful. I have to be careful how I talk about this. When she was 16, she went to an audition at the same place where what's his name died, the Chateau Montmartre. And what should have been like an interview audition ended up, she was there all day. She never reported this because it was so traumatic, but she alleges that the very famous, very well-known Hollywood star at the audition did not get consent. She was horribly traumatized. She was held for hours. She was injured badly. Now, this is all alleged, and I don't know, but this is what I've read. I'm just telling you what I read. After this guy died, her sister Lana in 2018 wrote her biography and confirmed that it happened and named names. So allegedly, it was Kirk Douglas. I don't know. So on November 29th, 1981, she's 43 years old. She's in their boat, the Splendor, off the coast of Catalina. She's spending this long weekend on the boat with her husband, Robert Wagner, with her co-star for the movie they're working on, Christopher Walken, and the only other person on the boat was the captain. Something happened, and she couldn't be found on the boat. In the morning, they found her body at 8 o'clock in the morning, about a mile from the boat, floating next to the dinghy that belonged to the boat, fully clothed. She was very bruised. The autopsy was really interesting. She was bruised in a lot of places where it wasn't just from banging off the boat or whatever. There was no clear narrative of what happened. And I just want to be really, really clear about this. This is all alleged. Some of these people have given more than one version. It progressed for a couple of decades. We still don't know. But this is what unfolded. Wagner said he didn't have any idea. When he got up, she wasn't there. He later admitted they'd had a fight. Her blood alcohol was 0.14, and she had taken a motion sickness pill and a pain pill. Thomas Noguchi, problematic coroner, said the cause was accidental drowning and hypothermia. And of course, she was terrified of the water and did not know how to swim. However, later, witness testimony was that people on a nearby boat all through the evening had heard a woman screaming help all through the night, and then finally it went quiet. She was buried in Westwood on December 2nd, and 3 days later the case was closed. However, as I said, November of 2011, it was reopened because the captain changed his testimony. He said he had lied to the police when it happened because he was afraid. And now he said that she and Wagner had been fighting and drinking, that she had overtly flirted with Christopher Walken, that Wagner became irate. He was jealous. And he shoved her in the middle of this argument and she went over. The captain panicked and Wagner said, "Leave her there, teach her a lesson." So he wouldn't let him put the lights on to find her in the water, and he wouldn't let her call the cops to get help, like Harbor Patrol or whatever, to get help. This is Wagner sat there drinking. The captain wanted to rescue her, but his boss wouldn't let him. And eventually her cries for help stopped. This is all alleged. I don't know. I wasn't there. Walken immediately lawyered up, and he cooperated with the cops, and he was never considered a suspect. In 2012, the coroner changed the death certificate to read drowning and other undetermined factors. And it was not clearly established ever how she went into the water. The cops approached the coroner at this point and warned the coroner, don't talk to the press. January of 2013, the coroner added a 10-page addendum to the death certificate. This coroner said she might have had the bruises before going into the water, that they weren't all caused by struggling in the water. A forensic pathologist said, well, she was taking thyroid medicine. Maybe she bruised easily. In 2020, a doctor who had been a former intern of Noguchi's said that the bruises were substantial. You can go online, you can see the drawing. You know how they have the body outline and they mark all the injuries on a body? They were bad. She also had a cut on her face. They were and her bruises were consistent with having been thrown out of the boat. February 2018, Wagner was named a person of interest. According to the LA Times, she had fresh bruises and scrapes, and it was possible she was assaulted before her drowning. This has not been brought to a conclusion. This is a very sad situation, and there's no finality to it. If you care to join me, I'm going to be reading about it on my membership, 99 cents. Please join me. And Deborah and I will be doing a video about this here in the near future. So that's a sad, sad story of beautiful and talented Natalie Wood. Thanks very much for watching Slongafoil Slungeon.